I'm sorry, I had the garbage behind the door here. I'm trying to make sure it doesn't fall so I don't get the door jammed.
Yeah. How you doing?
Horrible. How are you? Did you notice my dad had wrecked his car?
We noticed the front bumper.
Yeah, the whole car is missing.
Oh.
Because he ran it off the road, flipped it a couple of times. Maybe he might have harmed some people. So you guys still not caring that much? That I've been asking you guys' help before this type of stuff ended up happening?
No, we care, Ivan.
Yeah, it's been a whole 2 fucking months. What the fuck are you guys doing here?
I brought you some clothes. I brought you some clothes.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's that have to do with fucking anything here? These cases for kids molesting my family members, and you guys don't give a fuck? See this car here now? So it's the same model of the other car, right?
It's a Crown Victoria, right?
Who's the guy with the 10-gallon hat? Is that even called a 10-gallon hat?
I don't even know. Yeah.
Hey Ivan, how's it going?
Who's this fourth member next to you?
Well, we have a visitor here. She's gonna introduce herself to you.
Who the
Hi,
fuck
Ivan.
are you?
Well, my name is Jeannie Smith.
Well, hi, Jeannie Smith. Are you with another fucking organization? A non-fucking profit?
They've asked me to be your attorney in this matter.
What's the attorney for? A fucking warrant from a summons from the
No.
fucking police?
No.
Do you even fucking know about that?
I don't know about a warrant.
Fuck. You're a barrister or a licensed fucking
I'm a licensed
state
attorney.
bar attorney with
I
the
am.
state of New Mexico?
That's right. That's correct.
What is your practice in criminal law or civil court? Because criminal law apparently is the Department of fucking Justice, and they're the ones that charge fucking criminal charges, right?
I do not do work with criminal law.
Wow. So these fucking underage little kid cases that I tried to show these 3 people the pictures of us as kids of our ages, that they were under the age of reading or writing, to ask the fucking cops for 5 years or for the last 2 months that they have fucking rejected any help. You're familiar with Albuquerque, New Mexico, being a lawyer here? Have you been practicing law here for the whole of your career? Or did you just move into this shit? Because this gentleman right here, he's not originally from here, from Albuquerque, New Mexico. He comes from another goddamn country that they have fucking horrible fucking shit going on.
All right, Ivan.
Nigeria, right?
That's correct.
How fucking bad is it there, dude? I heard some fucked up shit on the fucking search engine for looking up anything about Nigeria and fucking kids. Literally fucking kids here. Native Americans. We have 14 fucking tribes, right? There's 20 that are basically here in this state. How many there have been fucking molested over fucking decades? And nobody fucking cared. I have a list of different ones in a vicinity around Albuquerque that apparently have their own casinos. That's the Sandia Pueblo. That's the Isleta Pueblo. If neither of you are from either of those tribes, it'd be interesting to get in contact with them if they have anybody local that might want to help these fucking cases for kids being molested by a fucking priest. I'm sorry, I forgot your name, Miss
Smith.
Smith. That's very cool.
Generic.
Colonial.
Generic.
Yeah, but you might care about things here in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
We all do.
Like some people can just turn their backs and walk away.
Yeah.
But you have a very nice rapport that you're willing to have some tolerance to come back here 3 or 4 times. And the risk of me posting stuff on Facebook or YouTube because I might forget things from getting my head cracked open on a public school property when trying to report those cases to the authorities in the 1980s. That might be with the 911, that I was a little tiny kid and I was told by police officers to dial 911 and I didn't even know how to read or write yet. I'm sorry, not an officer, but the gentleman that is here, you had told me your name, but I had forgotten it because it was very difficult. It starts with an A maybe, but the thing is that kids might not know how to read and write in their local dialect or whatever until they're maybe 4 or 5 and they're in some public education or whatever. Learning a second language, it's a lot. And both of you guys from the First Nations organization, you both represent people from the Native American tribe. That's a Native American language that you're probably taught when you're growing up, if you're lucky, to stay in the tribe and stuff like that, not get shifted to a fucking asylum or something that they said that they did to a bunch of kids to weed it out of the system.
Ivan.
But to learn English and try to explain, nobody was helping these cases and things got exacerbated a lot worse.
Ivan.
Now you have a lawyer here today to look at this situation. My dad might have been multiple personality disorders, that he might have driven his car off the road to harm other people because he got into a fit of rage. But then that it turned off, and then he was finding himself in the hospital, and they said that he flipped his car a bunch.
Yeah.
With these last 6 weeks, that happening, and these last 2 weeks where he's been, oh, I can go get food now. You guys were here originally because somebody from either 911 or the Bernalillo County Sheriff's Office or the Albuquerque Police Department or any of the different law enforcement agencies that I made contact with trying to reach out for help. Somehow they broke HIPAA law and contacted your guys' nonprofit organization because I did not make any contact with your organization in the first place. But then now you've contacted an actual a practicer of law. You work for a firm.
I work for myself, actually, not even a firm.
You're
on
even
my
more
own.
and more awesome, even
I'm
more.
on my own.
The thing is I found cold calling all these stupid nonprofits and law firm offices. One of them said that two of their firm are on the board of a nonprofit called the Rape Crisis Center of Central New Mexico. When I went there and they refused that they offered weekly sessions for victims to have group meetings for all the girls, they were on the bulletin board every single week. They had group sessions. But for men, for boys, for any of the male survivors to get a group session going, they said they didn't have enough to get any of them. But then I found out just in these problems that two of the members of that board of the Rape Crisis Center are part of the firm that had these class action lawsuits with 145 members of the victims being represented by one firm out of
Ivan.
two firms. So
Ivan.
that's really confusing to me.
Excuse me, Ivan. You know what? We
Got
brought
your clothes here.
Yeah, we brought you
Get
some
some clothes.
clothes.
Okay, I should have opened this up and come out here and stuff, but I did change
Yeah.
my outfit
Yeah,
from
you
the
did.
last time.
Oh, that's good.
Change it.
They
You wanna
saw
come on
me in the thing is that the seam had split,
Uh-oh.
and then I had flipped the pants around so that
Yeah.
I could use the side that didn't have the seam split, but both of them have been split, and then it was just aerated.
Come on over here.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I noticed that. I
It's
noticed
really
you're
bad
wearing
on the
some different
inside
clothes.
because it gets
Yeah.
I know, it's full. We can talk out here. Should we move to the table?
Why are you a
Why are we
lawyer
here?
Yeah,
They've asked
okay.
me to be your lawyer, Ivan, which means that I would be representing your interests.
This
Your
is very
interests.
nice.
Yeah. So this you know, this group, they want to help you to stay on track, make sure you're getting the support that you need.
I appreciate that. With
Yeah,
a lawyer, that
that's
just
what this
sounds
is
a
about.
little
But
caustic.
I'm your
or-
lawyer. I'm your lawyer. I'm not the lawyer for the other side.
But is it because of something bad that I have
No,
done?
no.
Or is it just in general, somebody that looks out for people? I've heard of something, maybe it's like a social thingy. See, I keep having to pull it up because the elastic breaks.
Yeah,
And then I had to get one of these elastic thingies, and then that's threaded on the inside.
yeah.
But they keep slipping down because
Well,
I
hopefully
lost so
this'll
much
help you.
weight.
Are there some pants in here?
Some shorts.
Shorts?
I think
Well,
I
it's
also have
shorts.
some in.
It's shorts weather anyway
But
now, so.
as it is so filled up with the garbage, my dad gets it once a week. We have 2 cans, but he wasn't even motivated to do those dad things like helping me get sand and filter it so that I can replace it in those bags. So simple, little stuff. It may sound like therapy that I need, but there is no therapy available for these cases for the rape issues. I appreciate you guys, and like if you guys were legitimately a nonprofit trying to help people, you know, the leg up type thing in New Mexico, like my life expectancy might get taken down a peg each time. Smoking cigarettes, drinking alcohol, using drug use, whatever. Because the factor is that as a little tiny kid, I wasn't getting any of those resources for those 12 years going to public school. So I don't know how to read and write and how it might be applied if I got my head cracked open in the back here. So shaving this part off is why this is so long, because I could use, it wasn't that bad as like shaving cream, but I would just take the bzzz, and then I would just go bzzz, 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 and I'd take it all off.
Let me ask you
So
this.
this is how long this is locked down, and I really apologize if I don't have
No,
a
no,
mask.
no apology necessary.
That takes
Listen,
the, it
do
doesn't
you-
stretch out the
Do you,
elastic
do
thing.
you understand why we came to visit you? We're
Well, you're
checking,
concerned about my
Ye-
mental state
we are,
and
and we're
needing to
checking on
assess
you.
it.
Yeah,
Thank you again. These are really awesome
good.
because I do stain my shirts a lot, and it goes really bad in those areas. It turns yellow. I don't know why men's sweat makes a different color, but it's really embarrassing when dancing like with girls. I perspire really bad, and I think I perspire because of something that happened in my head when I start to do exercise and stuff like that. Even if I'm having a hard time on a video game and I'm just sitting in like a little, you know, cross-legged and stuff, I'll start thinking, and I can't think through something, and then I start beating sweat, and then so my grandma used to use the word perspiring.
Yeah.
And that's when I would come inside and she'd go, "You're perspiring too much." But maybe my head got damaged, so that maybe physical or mental like exertions, I might
Well, yeah, they
start
got you.
having some.
They got you set up with some
But
good,
sweating
some
is
good clothes. Yeah.
when I used to dance, and I'd have like the girls, and so I would work this thing, and when I do like a twirl like that,
A twirl?
it'd be a perfect time to get my sleeve in there and get the sweat off. And let's do one this way. Okay, here we go. And
So you like to dance?
I didn't know how when I got my first Susan B. Anthony, or
Oh.
they're called a winter ball,
Oh yeah.
but it's a Sally.
Oh, I know what you mean.
It's
Sally,
it's the
Sadie
girl.
Hawkins.
Sadie
Sadie
Hawkins,
Hawkins.
where the girls invite the guys.
So and then they come up and they're like, "Well, you want to go to the dance?" And you're like, "I don't know how to dance." So then I had a boss, and she knew how to ballroom dance.
Good.
So I asked her one day, she was using her homework, and then like I saw it, and she had a number on her, like a jogger. And so basically she went and she told me that she did weekly dancing, and they learned how to swing dance like
Right.
in the 1940s.
That's fun.
Ivan, if we get,
Pants!
yeah,
Oh, they're shorts too!
That's right. It's
These are so awesome, and they're very light. They're like golf pants. So my dad might have a personality or about 5 of them that are perfectly fine, but there might be a violent characteristic that actually abuses. And he
So-
even pointed it out the other
Ivan,
day.
Let's
Quickly,
hear what he has to
If
say
we
for a
get you
second.
some medication, will you be willing to take those medication?
My medication that I use, have you heard of post-traumatic stress disorder?
I sure have.
So had you changed your mind about medical marijuana?
Tell me about medical marijuana.
It helps keep people's minds off of things. So if
Okay.
you can tell, I haven't been medicated this morning, so my mind races really fast. But as soon as I get like a medication, oh, I was loving these.
You
These
like
are,
them? Will they fit? I
these,
hope so.
well, I don't know. I wanna.
They look
These are
like they-
38, and I might have lost enough weight that I have to use a belt. So I just found some belts the other day.
Oh, good.
So you guys are tolerating me really well, and I don't know. This is a golf shirt.
You like coffee?
No, I don't.
Oh.
Because I
But
don't.
it's a cool
No,
But it
no,
looks
no,
good.
no.
That's a nice shirt.
No, no, no.
Yeah.
It's cool. I don't know how to count. Like in bowling,
Yeah.
you're supposed to count like
Yeah.
math,
Yeah.
and then in football, you're supposed to like you. In rugby, you can't run forward. You can only run backwards.
Yeah.
What's up with that? And then like there's other things like you've got tennis where you can have partners like team up.
Sure.
Right.
But then on other things like fencing, it's only wrestling or
Gotcha,
boxing.
gotcha.
It's only one-on-one,
So-
and I don't know how to do the sport.
Listen, I'm
Getting
gonna hear
back to the
this.
medication
Sure.
we're talking about, so
There's different types of medications,
Mhm.
SRSRs.
SSRI, yeah. So-
When you did with nonprofits and stuff like that, do you have people that specialize in pharmacology? Because they're doctors that only do, this is a really nice shirt. They're all nice because they're very light. Doctors that help with the nonprofits that work with you guys, that you guys get like a opinion, second opinion, like those types of
We
things?
do, when we need to, yes, we do.
That's
But what I'm thinking now is, have you heard of Haldo before?
Cardinal?
Haldol. Haldol.
Maybe in movies or TVs or something like that.
What about Risperdal?
That sounds like a respiratory thing.
No.
Okay.
Some of these things sound like they're not generic, or they're thingies that are more in the public's awareness from other people having to use them. Are they like those SRSRs, like the beta blockers or? whatnot?
Actually, it's a atypical antipsychotic medication.
Yeah, but to
We call it
To-
second generation.
what's it called? To actually have anything that would be a psychotic, will cause to use the medication. Let's say I don't have a broken leg, but you want me to go in and get it amputated. Does that sound reasonable in any kind of aspect? Because I'd be more than willing to take something that would improve my situation rather than make it much more worse.
There are
So-
things that will improve your situation.
We could say, I wouldn't disagree to any kind of form of treatment, and as long as it was valid or verified, why I would be using it. Because if you're making me figure out that I'm getting worse and 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 worse. Oh, here, take this pill, it might make everything better. Well, why not help with getting my cognitive behavioral therapy better and doing my box breathing and doing my body scanning, and then turn to a pill that might take 15 minutes to kick in, or get a post-traumatic stress disorder service animal in the training so that dog can jump up and start licking my face so I don't have to get chemically dependent on some kind of pharmaceutical if my brain already has cognitive problems communicating between different receptors because of a head damage issue. I'm not going to take a medication that might work for other people if it's not going to be proven to be able to work for me because of chemical half-lives that a pharmacologist might know a little bit more. So you have to take the pill, 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 and then you'll be able to see if it's actually applying. But I already need a therapist that deals with kids that got fucked up the ass and bleeding out of it that my aunt and my great-grandmother here were washing my laundry and my underwear stained with blood because of being raped by a full-grown adult male when I was only in 3rd grade. That guy across the street might be an excellent resource to ask any of the questions because he's got a whole bunch of kids there, and there's a bunch of different portable homes that are set up in his lawn, but he was in prison for 9 years. So where's the funding coming from to do anything at the house that my dad used to own? Flies and mice might be going in there. Huntavirus. Huntavirus. Murdered our Lex Luthor. My favorite Lex Luthor is dead because nobody checked on him. So Gene Hackman died of Huntavirus. Huntavirus I heard about because of our 2000s in the Sandias. So any kind of skills or whatever to clean, we went psycho with lockdown, washing the groceries. You need to wash off everything that you bring into your house. You don't get the coronavirus. That was extreme, but it was very welcome because of that level that so many people took things a little bit more that normally they might say you need to take some medication to calm down. But the fact was the entire continent and the world was watching it from 2 different sides, coming from the east side and from the west side. Variations of the COVID vaccine were not going to work on this side because this side was getting it used. So when it bled together.
Let's talk about you and your
Yeah, I've
and your
got a
future.
huge amount of problems if I don't get more help with getting these cases dealt with here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. If there's 350 for the northern half of the state, that means that there must have been representatives. If they were all kid cases, kids under the age of 18, that's the New Mexico State Bar recommending to firms that they offer pro bono services. You might be a pro bonoist, and that might be really awesome. So if there was any financial gain or
I'm not
not
the person
looking
that
for
would do
clout,
that kind of case. I
right.
won't do that kind of case.
but the
So,
funding
what
for
we're asking
nonprofits and the funding for lawyers that need to get that type of help for
Mm-hmm.
the citizens, that's where all of this should be going towards.
Okay.
Because there might be people that are willing to work on these types of cases, but my family has become deadbeats. This is my cousin's house. This is another cousin's house over here. My grandparents built this house. My dad owned that house. The woman that had a kid there died of AIDS. So if they weren't
Can I-
getting their
can I
cases
interrupt
dealt
for a
with in the
second?
80s and 90s,
May I speak for a second?
yeah, I'm just really upset that a lot of
I
these
know
kid
you're upset.
cases
I know you are
are
about
just
that.
lined up, and then they want people to do more when I've been doing too much if it's at my level down here in 2nd grade and dealing with people that don't want to be putting up with me because I'm yelling or I'm hijacking the conversation. You've been trying to say that you would like to talk about these things, but you have me so nervous. You're saying pills. I'm saying it's a HIPAA law violation, and then you're a lawyer. So it's like none of these situations could be the best version of the way that they could be being handled. They're being handled because I've already been abused and molested throughout this process. I don't know if the term molested is accurate, if it's not sexual in context, but to be mentally bombarded with different concepts of who's coming from what angles.
All right.
You guys are super awesome. You're married?
Yeah?
That's really awesome too. Does your better half also do the bar stuff?
No.
You take on so much stress, so that person must rub your feet every night. So
No. Not
So
really.
I
Ivan,
apologize.
Back to
let's
the
quickly
to-
let's
I
quickly
need
get
to
back
shut
to the
Let's listen to him for a second.
let's get back to the therapy side.
I
So
apologize. You guys
No,
are
don't apologize.
No,
Just
no
let's hear
problem.
what we got.
we're gonna go through therapy. Therapy is part of the service we're gonna offer you. The medication is another side of it. Then try to provide for your resource or for giving you some assistance is another part of the service, like getting you some clothes,
well,
you
it's
know,
just
getting things
uh,
like that.
It's you're like monitoring, managing, and supervising that there's a process to things to follow. Let's say like there's been a establishment from the 70s, 80s, 90s that you're bringing those experiences with your
Yeah,
nonprofit.
where we're gonna be starting from would be to talk about your medication. When you're able to take your medication, we try to,
Where I've left
provide
off
some
that and stuff.
Mhm.
But the fact is that no matter what, you could recommend it till you're blue in the face. But according to the law, any patient doesn't have to take a recommended medication. So it's a moot point if it's not argued by your side to what benefit I would have, like beta blockers, make it so that people are emotionless on a date, so that they don't show any expression whatsoever. But that's a joke from a movie with the guy from Parks and Recreation. So basically, I do understand that there might be chemical help and stuff like that, and my chemicals might be really off. So I was trying to get the police report so I can get that to the doctor, and the doctor can approve me getting my head scanned. And then it's going to be like, oh, you can't go in airplanes. Oh, you can't take this medication yet if it's going to cause like a heart medication. That's the stuff that my general practitioner, to find out what the gap is from my dad taking all the data. He was coming in and he was taking my, whatchamacallits, it's a whole like sport regime that you have to get like a book and you have to fill in like, yes, I took my pill today, Gold Star. Ooh, that's where I was loving the dollar store. If they had a packet of Gold Stars, I took a shower, Gold Star. I brushed my teeth, Gold Star. I got breakfast, lunch, dinner made for myself, Gold Star, Gold Star, Gold Star.
Ivan,
And at the end of the
Let
day,
me, can I speak? I'm new to your case, okay? These folks know you better than I do.
well,
But my job is to protect you, to make sure your needs are being served, okay?
well, I appreciate
And
that.
and basically they're on the team too, because everybody's trying to work together with you. Now, the question would be, would you be willing
Lost.
to take one of the psychotic medications that this gentleman mentioned? I mean, is
I
it,
would be willing
would
to
it be
take a
worth a
list of
try?
them, but I'm not gonna experiment with drugs, because that's
it's
something
not
that
an experiment.
It is an experiment because my older sister has been molested by the authorities, that they locked her up in the hospital and they threw her on a bunch of different drugs when she was found by fucking Jeffrey Epstein's house. And you don't fucking get that I've already talked to other authorities here in trying to explain. This isn't just for my case. If you go to my sister and ask her these fucking questions, you won't fucking find her having difficulties like me, because she has her own set of fucking difficulties. These girls, one got hit by a bus last week. Did you hear about that? One of the fucking Gilfrain girls, right, is one of the girls that came forward against Jeffrey Epstein, hit by a bus.
All right.
So you think that might be a red flag to get some goddamn help here? I use my cuss words good enough to not get people pissed off. If they're religious bound, I have to ask them if their religion allows to be asked. Help kids report cases. Don't try to force drugs on people. It might be offensive. My sister's drugs that she's been put on, that might be where I might be having some familiarity.
Okay.
I'm sorry, that just scared me. Just the fucking sound will fucking make my heart jump. So the thing is it's not a rattlesnake, it's fucking seeds. I can't even get out and finish work in the yard because a barrier just to hang on the fence to give myself some privacy to come out here. Open the windows, get some air in. Hantavirus. If I get hantavirus and I die, I will be in a much better place than in this hellhole that gets my cousin to tell me to go to hell when I try to explain to her that any of this stuff, it might be upsetting her. But the fact is, she came here the other night and she yelled, "Go to hell."
There's a way out of your situation. If you can listen to your therapist, they are experienced.
Right. I have
They-
therapists that need to help report these cases from 4th grade and 5th grade. That's Christine or Mary Millingway. Then you got 7th grade. Her again. Then I have the Next Step program with the juvenile rehabilitation program. That's Celeste Frank.
Okay.
So those are therapists that I already worked with that have notes that I can't get access to help report these cases.
Okay.
So it's getting worse and worse if you're telling me that I need more therapy when the therapists that are already supposed to provide their notes to help in these cases on top of the 911 calls, they were supposed to help with the 911 calls, but nobody at the 911 office is even interested in being any part of community outreach. With the FBI, they advertise community outreach, but that website apparently doesn't make sure that when they answer the phone at the FBI, they don't get mad at you for asking their help with these cases
Okay.
that fall under criminal charges.
Ivan,
Department of
we
Justice.
didn't come here to get you upset, okay?
Anybody coming here is going to be getting me upset because
where
these
do we go
cases
from
are
here?
with
We're
kids.
ready to go.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
We get all the information that we need.
Well, I'm
So,
glad you like to close.
does Ivan know that there's a
Kinda.
court hearing next week? Should we tell him?
A hearing for what? You can't inform me that there's fucked up shit going on here?
No.
Here,
No.
it was thoughtful.
No.
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 Just leave it.
You're not gonna
Ivan,
even mention a hearing?
This
What
is-
kind of fucking hearing would they fucking have? I'm not able to fucking leave. My dad sold my car to his family members. You're causing more issues by just joking about it and giggling about it right off the bat. That doesn't seem professional at all. I really hope there's no fucking wasps inside now that I've left this door open. By seeing you guys, it doesn't make any sense if you're going to make things worse for kids here in town. But while we're at it, this thing doesn't record exactly, right? Because if I don't open the lens cap, it only records the audio. So if I don't point at anybody's faces, it's still content that I can post on YouTube. How about that? With Facebook and YouTube for the last 2 months to be actually trying to record any of these conversations because they're so caustic or damaging to individual cases. That's 2 extra months if I had a statute of limitations as an adult. That's only 3 years that adults get. But that my cases are juvenile cases, there's no limitation to statutes. That's a lawyer question, but there are no lawyers, there are no firms that are openly taking pro bono cases. How much does it cost to ask a nonprofit for help?
Okay.
You guys aren't willing to tell me about some kind of hearing? What kind of a hearing do I get charges for that I have to go show up for? A hearing?
It's not charged.
My dad got my sister fucked around by lawyers that wouldn't investigate why she was getting messed around with as an adult. I've asked questions. Why isn't anybody helping with her cases? And in this situation, you're gonna find out if my mental state is in a good enough place that my dad has been molesting my family members for longer than I've been alive. So these people here today that I've been talking to might not be interested in the jobs that they do as people, but the threat of their own employment by the job that they're doing here today might not make any sense. But if they need to find out the situation, me here, putting my address on the internet, saying anybody that's able to help, they can come here. If anybody was able to call, but the phone line got disconnected for the last month, and you go off and you talk with my dad, but you're not recording the conversation that he's having with you. That situation that he might be lying to authority figures without any fucking remorse that comes from him being a goddamn altar boy with his cousin who was a police officer, a fucking marshal. That these cases here in this town have corrupt fucking cops, corrupt fucking fire department
We're
people.
not here to upset you.
Yeah, you were here to fucking upset because you didn't fucking inform the fucking fact that there's gonna be a fucking hearing to fucking look at this fucking shit. You think a fucking videotape might fucking help them out a lot fucking more? Because I've been fucking yelling? They'll fucking mute it and put subtitles on it. They'll fucking transcribe it. You've been in a law firm. You've been in a lawyer's office. You've been in fucking court. Those books in the background, those apparently are every single case that court has had to deal with. That lady, the stenographer, is going to town on typing in a very weird way that they don't teach in school.
Ivan.
But that's to record
We're gonna go
all
now.
of that.
Okay, Ivan.
So these recordings, if kids are not getting help,
Yeah, we're gonna leave it.
don't leave your trash here.
It's not trash.
Don't leave your trash here. That is a rejected thing that you bring here and leave. That's not welcome. If you're here to help, that might help. But if you're gonna make fun of me and say I fucking need clothes because my dad has been exploiting the fucking diff shit that a fucking father should do, getting halfway fucking shit that doesn't even fucking matter as a fucking little kid.
All right, Evan.
You guys don't fucking give a shit. That guy across the street might help out a lot more. And that's the only thing that's lacking, right? Is finding one person to fucking help. You guys gonna go talk with him?
Okay, Ivan.
You guys should have probably not even tried, right?
No.
Yeah.
You're worth it. You're worth it. Just
I doubt it if there's a hearing